Right? This training is for not like only for the learning. As you know that already traditional training are you have a lot of source to learn from the YouTube and free training, couple of free training and a couple of paid training which is recorded session. But this training would help you to understand the clear fundamental would be the basic skills would be the clear. Number one. Number two, you will have the roadmap, so the lot of confident when you build, right, automatically you can have that confidence to crack the interview. So this training will help whoever want to uh, willing to change their job, right? So who are working on a longer years in the existing company, want to upskill of themselves, then they want to change the job, this will help them. So quickly what we are going to talk about, this course is for the system administrators, which is specifically active directory administrator. uh, you will learn many things along with this, and we will be talking about the in-depth skill and expert level, start from the L1 support and end with L4 support, which is architect and senior architect level. And we will be talking in a three phases, right? For actual, we will not be talking about just installation and process it how it is. We will build the infrastructure as per the production environment, and we'll talk about the operations, how it would be operations going on day-to-day activity, or business as usual business activity once we start our office work, and what kind of tickets are coming and how we need to respond the email, what kind of the issues are coming, where do we go and check it, all we need to talk about in operations. And the end of the topic called troubleshooting, we will discuss around 5 to 10 use cases. If these kind of issues occur, how do we start troubleshooting, what kind of log we need to review, right, which type of log we need to read, those are all we will be talking about, right? So when we talk about the infrastructure, right, number one, you must understand that many of many of candidates, when I was in the interview, right, when I was taking the interview, I first question will ask, so what is your infra? They are updating their profile, saying that is in having a this many of experience and these many domain controller, these many servers we are handling. uh, but the first question I would ask, what is your infrastructure? When I talk about infra, they will be stuck. Okay, they will say that is in, okay, we have 100 server and these are all. But when I ask for the what is your active directory infra, right, they stuck. They know they are using, they are working the day to day their activity, right, day to day operations activity, but they never know what is their active directory infrastructure. So when we talk about AD infra, they must understand that how many they are, how many the forest have in environment, how many domain they have into their environment, right, domain in their environment, how many sites they are using, how many domain controller using. Okay, these are the first most important to understanding the terminology called in active directory, forest, domain and sites and domain controller across worldwide if they have branches, right? So they must know that is in overall, if you understood this concept, right, this infrastructure, so any administrator can easy to manage and maintain and support it. Because if issue is occurred, right, you would immediately understand that this issue is which location. For example, now if you say, if I build a my infra, so saying that is in, there are a couple of few type of infrastructure, right, which is number one, single forest and single domain and single site, and having only two domain controller, two DCs. This is the one infrastructure. So if you see this, around 500 employee, if you talk about, which is very very small scale. Here you can say 500 to thousands employee, which is managing their business. Second infrastructure, it would be single forest, single domain and they have a multiple site and multiple DCs. So this is around branches. They have businesses branches opened, and more than, you can talk about more than 5,000 employee. Each branches you can consider around 2,000, 2,500, and it's a multi branches, right? It's a multiple site. They have branches. They have opened their business, and there's another environment infrastructure called single domain. Sorry, single forest, single domain. Here we have talked about single domain, multiple site, and here it would be a multiple domain, and multiple sites. So again, you can say multiple DCs. Now in this scenario, you just see the difference between here single domain, only one domain you have, and multiple site. But here multiple domain, you have the branches, you can say, across worldwide, right? And another one is a little more bigger than third option, and you can say that is an enterprise level, which is multiple forest and multiple domain and multiple site, and you have multiple DCs. If you learn this, right, you can manage a single persons across worldwide your entire IT infrastructure. Without this, you will not have any of the IT infrastructure. Trust me. If you understood this environment, you can easy to manage, maintain, and support alone, single person, and we will be going to build this kind of infrastructure. Trust me, we will be going to build this infrastructure, which we would need around 6 servers and 2 client machine. Overall we need to build it. How it's going to happening here? So I will be having this environment which I have explained here. We have a single domain, sorry, single forest. It would be like that, single domain, sorry, okay, single domain, and this is single forest. You can say here only one site, and you have 2 domain controller, and here multiple site in a within a domain, single domain. Okay, you have a 2 domain controller here. Here also one domain controller, and I will be having another forest which is having multiple domain. You have multiple domain in a single forest, and each domain you have a sites, multiple site, and each domain you have a site, right? And again each site you have a domain controller. And one more infrastructure is you have a multiple forest. Should be like that. Okay, and in a one single forest, you have a multiple domain, and this is also have a multiple domain. So this all together is a one infra which is having a multiple forest, which you have a builder trust between these two forests. Okay, and see here now again you have in this site level within this, you must understand this concept, right? So basically many of people are lacking because of they never know that is an entire infrastructure, right? How do we read it? How do we know this entire infrastructure? This would be, as we discussed, single forest and single domain, right? And single site. And second one is single forest, single domain. Here, multiple site, correct? And third one is the infrastructure is single forest, single domain, but here not single domain, it's a multiple domain and multiple site. And here, if you see, we have the multiple forest and multiple domain and multiple sites, and also we have a multiple domain controller, multiple DCs, right? So if you create the first time or you have already existing environment, right? It may be a think about it is the your forest name would be neeltech.edu, and by default remember your first domain name it would be a same neeltech.edu. Remember the whatever forest name you creating the first time, the both first domain and first forest it would be the same always, right? And this site name called, you can say, BLR. The site name is BLR, and these two domain controller DC1 and DC2 same things. If you see here neeltech.edu, and domain name is also called as a neeltech.edu, and this site name called as a BLR, and this site called as a CHN, which is in India. One of the location called as I'm talking about the India location. One is called Bangalore, called BLR, and CHN means what? Chennai. I'm just taking for the different site name. Here you have around. Think about here we have around how many employee we talked about, around thousands employee, right? Thousands employee. And here we have around 5,000 employee. In a Bangalore location have around 2,500 employee, and Chennai also we have around 2,500 employee. So how do we manage it across these employee are a different department, and these employee working on a different location, and how do we manage it for entire operations to support, right? And if you talk about another infrastructure called, which is a single forest multiple domain, same things, neeltech.edu, and the first domain is also called as a neeltech.edu, and here it is a different domain. When we talk about the domain, there is a two type of domain. One is you called as a child domain, and the other one is called as a tree domain. We will be talking about both the domain infra. So when I say child domain, it would be a, say my domain, another new domain is in started in a different country, which it would be a you can say EMEA dot neeltech dot edu, right? Edu. This is a different child domain, which is hierarchically taking a parent name. Okay, it's a inheritance of parent, correct? And same things in a different domain, either you can go ahead with a child domain, it would be like uh, um, uk.nil.edu kind of, right? But it is not child domain. If it's a tree domain, you can create a different name of the domain, like uh, solo.com. It's a different domain altogether. You can build different domain name in a within a forest, right? This called as a tree domain. If you're taking the parent name as a inherited from the parent, that is called as a child domain. So this is a multi-domain environment. Also, we have here in a multi-forest environment. So we will be talking about much more detail on upcoming classes, how these sites are replicating each other, how these two domain controls are talking each other. Remember, any object you are going to create it, any of the domain controller, it must replicated each domain controller in a within a domain automatically, right? We will be talking about how the replication happening for the between the domains, and how the whatever users are created in a one domain, it will be a fall under one domain. You will not be able to see another domain those users. However, the user can able to connect, the user able to authenticate to the different domain resources, but user won't be able to see in this other domain. But user can authenticate for the another domain environment, but how that authentication is happening, how that is in default trust is has been created, we will be going to talk about, right? These are all uh, technical discussion we would be talking about, which I will be covering, as these are all entire forest I mean infrastructure environment. So these are all infrastructure. We would need minimum 6 servers and 2 clients we need, right? So these are, once we build infrastructure, we can understand that, we can understand that where is my issues, right? If someone users are having a Chennai location, then we don't want to check the Bangalore location domain controllers. We don't want to check any of the servers, right? Here, which we talked about 2,500 employee, and here is also around 5,000 employee. If we increase another site here around 10,000 employee in this domain, 10,000 employee in this domain, 10,000 of employee in this domain, overall 50,000 plus employee can manage single person here. And all the employees you would need the proper, right, that all the server infrastructure, the server infrastructure, it is not only active directory infrastructure you're using, but the operations point of view you must understand, which is operations point of view means what you should know. What you mean by users, what you mean by groups, what you mean by OU, what you mean by OU delegations, what you mean by sites, sites replications, right? And what do you mean by FSMR role, what do you mean by trust relationship, what do you mean by creating a multi-domain environment, which we talk about the child and tree domain, right? And how the you know creating a trust between forest, right, between the forest. Then we should also have, when we talk about infrastructure, this is entirely internal active directory process, right? We should also talk about the important how the DNS works, which is in-depth level, how the DSCP works, right? And in this DNS we will also talking about what you mean by zone, right? So what you mean by primary DNS server, what you mean by secondary DNS server, right? And what you mean by stub zone, the questions will ask interview, right? All are we are going to talk about here. Stub zone, right? And what do you mean by DSCP, and what do you mean by scope, we'll be talking about. What do you mean by DSCP relay agent, And what do you mean by DSCP failover? Right, the most important DSCP failover. And we'll be talking about DSCP backup and restore. These are all in-depth level we are going to talk about. And we will be talking about in a continue with this our server infrastructure, right? So majorly important, we'll talk about the group policy, right? It's the most important critical topic in Active Directory and server administration. We must aware about the group policy. Also we'll talk about advanced group policy, right? So how that is in managing for in a user configuration, computer configuration. Basically when we apply the policy, it must be under both the two. Either you can apply the policy user configuration or computer configuration. The configuration we do for only these two, right? But policy applying for to whom, that is called as a LSDOU, which is either your policy would be in a local, either your policy it would be applying for the site, or your policy it would be in a domain, or and it's a OU level, right? And what are the default policy we have created once we build the Active Directory, we will be going to talk about, which is default a domain policy and default domain controller policy. You must be understanding in depth level. So what are those? And we'll be talking about how to create a policy based on our requirement, and what are the, as I talk about advanced policy, it would come your filtering, security, preference, right? Software installation, backup and restore, all we are going to talk about in this topic, right? We will be talking about some advanced level. We will be talking about here 14th. You can also have a backup and restore, which is all in a both in a file signed folders level, a backup and restore, and Active Directory backup and restore both. And we will be talking about most important one of the called as a in place upgradation. In place upgradation, which is we will build a Windows 2008 R2 environment including plus Active Directory. Then we should know that is in how we can upgrade to to Windows 2012 or Windows 2016 server operating system plus Active Directory. So everything it should be, everything it should be properly upgraded. The only changes when you talk about the upgradation, it's a same hardware, but only changes in your operating system. That's all. But all Active Directory objects, right? Policy, everything should be same. It's a big change implementation in a weekend during out of business hours. So yeah, when users come into office to log in their laptop, they never know that what happened in the background, which is being changed for Windows 2012 or 2016 operating system. But we will be talking towards the journey for Windows 2019 operating system. 2019 operating system plus Active Directory will be talking about, right? We'll be seeing that some fundamental also. So these are the topic. Additional, we will be seeing some IP addresses we can talk about. Some theoretical topic we will be, and if the time persists and if something someone asks for some questions on, we will talk on DFS, distribution file system, and we'll talk about it is in Windows failover cluster, failover cluster. These are the topic we are going to talk about towards our journey. So these are all we made these topics or this content for every system administrator must learn. The most important, which is troubleshooting, troubleshooting topic. Okay, the troubleshooting when we talk about, right? If you see, so I have one note here. This would be how the actual environment it would be. Okay, if you see that last class. Okay, just you can. This is see this one document. So how that actual industry have their infrastructure in active directory and Windows Server level, what kind of you need to prepare. There is some 10 or 15 use cases what I said, right? So that's it. So this training and this document, if you prepare yourself properly, spend some time with you to understand the concept clearly, I'm sure you will be getting a job guaranteed. Okay, let me open this Word document and then I'll see this. I'll show you this is how it would be, which I prepared this document in earlier. Okay, see here, these are the document are. Okay, see here. When you talk about troubleshooting, right? There are a little more deeper level and what kind of support you will be going to support L1 and L2 and L3 support, right? So entire server level you have that is in a domain, DC, site, subnet, replications, operation masters, DNS, DP, which I said in that topic, right? And you will be getting a questions all are in within this. See here. So there are some service level and if you see active directory guidelines and procedures, right? So these are all you must understand that is in how do you creating that. You can see these are all delete the group, rename the group, delegating permissions, create a new group policies. You will be understanding that during our journey, and these are all asked question during interview, right? So we made this document. See, that is some troubleshooting task. When we talk about what do you mean by that FSMO service, what you are going to do, FSMS service down, FSMS service up, global catalog down, replications failed. So see, these are all are specifically selected, which is regularly coming into the troubleshooting. And if they ask question interview, you can tell them confidently these are the troubleshooting we have done, and also we have done with steps to be followed. If you just scroll down little bit right down for the respective issues, how do you troubleshoot? You can see creating a performance monitor log, who is going to do L2 support, how to do. These are the steps are being provided, right? So you never know that is in if you did or not, but after completion of this training you can make a note a proper yourself to what are the things I need to be prepared, and during the interview on working on the project or working on actual environment, you should have a lot of confidence. See here, add a existing user to group. It feels simple, but who is going to do L2 support? But how to do? You can see these steps. Right, this document will be shared later by demand because it's a confidential document. We need to make sure that it should not be shared everyone, right? See this some little advanced level, copying paste in group policies. How do you create a group policies? Copying and pasting group policy, who is going to do L3 support, right? So how to do? You can see the steps has been involved here, right? How to transfer the domain level operation master, who is going to do L3 support, right? And see this, the steps are involved here. Everything you will have that is in place, right? You now have a complete document is available. But once you have thoroughly and practically understood this concept which we explained as of now, so I'm sure, so what else you needed here, right? When you go to the server administration, that's it. You will have to have all the preparations to be done. But the recommendation is to get a job once you complete it, it's at least minimum you must complete 3 time complete the lab. 3 time you need to complete. The moment you complete the lab, the you feel this is experience. During interview there is a most of the cases people are don't have experience, and they wanted to upgrade their skill server and wanted to move on to server administration. But this training will surely help. When they ask question interview, you just imagine and you can assume that you are explaining in the real scenario experience, and you just bring in your you close the eyes, bring your entire infrastructure which you build in lab, and if they ask question, relate it what you did and answer it. I'm sure that will be completely for what you have done in the lab as experience, right? And this will be make no make a note the few cases, what activity, if this point will be applicable for who doesn't have experience, you need to make a note properly few cases, what activity you are going, what task you are handling, right? You can plan it, right, handling. And during interview they'll ask you, even though you doesn't have experience, you can tell them confidently with the help of the notes, these kind of task I'm handling and all. When they come to the technical discussion, I'm sure you will be answering all the questions with confidently. And you can just plan for your profile updating, update the all your content what you have learned here, and then upload your to profile to job portal, right? Then you must get a call, you must get a call, right? So when you're getting a call, then your profile is shortlisting and you can start giving interview. The last one is start giving interview. Then I'm sure you must have a minimum of 2 or 3 offer letter with you. So you need to ask me that is an okay, which company I need to join. This is what experience we have fall under in from the day one, and this is your success journey, right? These are the prerequisites you have to start with journey. So that's it what we are going to talk about today. So overall, we discussed how do we start our journey. As I said, it is not like a traditional training kind of, and you will have that is in complete knowledge and complete skill you're getting from the L1 to L4 level, right? With with the deeper skills, and you should clearing the fundamental, clearing the basic things, all the uh, you know gaps we are going to fill. Then the day by day the training is going on, and the confidence level is going to increasing because you are doing the lab and understanding the concept. The more you concept understanding, automatically the confidence level is built and you can start following the steps. And I'm sure the ultimately the goal is to get the minimum 2 or 3 offer letter, not one offer letter. And you need to think about which company have to join with the good package, you can say, with the good package. All right, so now open to you. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm going to stop sharing now. If you have anyone's questions, please raise your hand. Then we'll talk about. Yeah, wait. Then go ahead. You can unmute yourself and speak.
Sorry, this is I made it before, but
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. No worries. Yeah, go ahead.
oh,
So earlier you hand that's so fun. Okay, fine. Any questions by then? Do you have any question? And anyone has any questions? Almost around 50 people are joined here, and feel free to ask because this forum today is for US only. Yeah, Ritu, go ahead. Unmute yourself and speak.
Yep. Okay. So Neil, after completing this course, what kind of jobs we can actually apply to?
System administrator, you can apply the job, or IT engineering, or server administrator, or you can apply active directory administrator, system engineer, you can apply this job. So the first most important, one more important, I'll explain you. This is the fundamental. Okay, this is the journey start is going to start now. After this, you should not stop learning. Okay, once you got the job, you start keep learning, which is the relevant you need to talk about. You need to learn for the Windows PowerShell. Also you need to learn, which is for the automation will help you. And you can learn from the cloud, which is Microsoft Azure, you can learn it. And keep upskilling. And if you have any further, the more you learn, right, the more you learn, the more you earn. Keep upskilling yourself always. You need to upskilling ourselves. Okay, this is a journey of our IT, right? Ourselves, right? And to compete, what's happening now, that is all of that is in automations are coming, artificial intelligence are involving. And this is eating for all our jobs. When artificial intelligence hit into the uh, IT industry, is already there but is not in a booming now, because there is very soon is coming. Artificial intelligence is already, it was there in the production environment, right? Robotic technologies, manufacturing product, but never come to that, IT industry. But there is discussion, there is a technologies coming into the IT industry. If that technologies come in IT industry very very soon, all job eating. But we have to prepare for that. Please learn upskilling, and very soon whatever technologies have a legacy, it's very soon is outdated. As you know already, right, what happened in during the COVID, right? The persons who has a skill, he will be survive. And the person, you know even though he has a skill, it's not as little smarter than hard working, then it's gone, we will not be survived. So trust me, since I am in the last 15 years in this industry, though, we know that is in what is going to happening in the IT industry. Keep upskilling yourself. You wanted to reach a good package, or you wanted to survive in IT, please follow this formula. Simple. Keep learning, that's it. This is the formula. Understand the concept, and update your profile content what you are learning. And keep changing the job until one saturation point is reached. Don't keep changing continually for every year or every 2 year to company. No, don't do that. Every 2 year or 3 year you can keep changing. At least 5 year company, 5 or 6 company, you can change it, not a problem. But at least whatever your expected package reached. And my expectation, at least you can reach 1 crore per annum, right? Start with 3 lakh. Start with the 3 lakh. If who are in the fresher in this session, start with the 3 lakh. So if you are, good learner, and keep studying, you can reach, as I said, 1 crore per annum within, before it, when you reach the 20 years of experience. This is possible. 20 years of experience, that's it. What else you needed, right? This is India I'm talking about. It's the Indian rupees I'm talking about, and India location. But if you are in abroad and if you're different company, it may increase for your, uh, you know, entire your package. Okay. Say thanks, bringing these questions. Yeah, you will be applying for Ritu, for all system administrator, system engineer, and keep upskilling. And based on that, again, your knowledge and skill, your designation get changed. You might be a cloud administrator, you might be a security administrator, you might be a development, DevOps administrator, senior architect, like it going to happening based on the experience. First you will be having administrator, second you would be a lead administrator, third you will be a, if you want to go with a technical, again, technical manager, senior technical manager. And you will be might going to for the, coming to the leadership, right? Director, senior director, uh, president, vice, these are all designations in every big company. But when I say 1 crore, and you would be reaching that position, right? Within 20 years you will be reaching for the, big positions across, your company and your career. Yeah. Thank you. Who has next question? Anyone has next questions? Thanks, Ritu, for bringing this question. Yeah, Balamurgan, go ahead.
Yes, actually, for you said this will be applicable for system admin and system engineer role, right?
Correct.
Actually, while checking in system admin and system administration role, that will be late. I mean, they are expecting company portal and software center technical skill also. Okay, are you going to teach about the company portal and software center skill also? This
I
course
didn't get
included.
you. What is that company portal? I didn't get you. Company portal
Okay,
means?
okay. It is related to the Office 365.
Okay. That is again different, right? We talking about system administrator. Now, when we talk about Office 65, ACCM, System Center Configuration Management,
Yes.
deployment part, and Intune, again, these are different. As I said, right? This is our system. Now, again, you need to go in next level, right? As we discussed, Windows PowerShell is one of the automations part to be added. Cloud to be added later part I'm talking about. Then again, your career started from the primary skills, right? The next it would be Office 65, Intune, system center configuration management like SCCM. These are all you can add on that. This is in a career continue with this base. The what you are we talked about, it's a system administrator. Now in this top, when you talk about Office 65 Intune, the fundamental and base you would need Active Directory, correct? Without active directory, you can't do anything. So next level of upgrading your skill, you can do it that one. But those we are not talking about here, but it's a core for system administrator topic we are talking about. Okay. Whatever I've explained in the notepad, all the topic we will be covering during our journey. Next, who has any question? You got it, Balamurgan? Okay, so I hope you understood what we are discussing upcoming journey. From today, we will be talking about actual lab and all, and actual class we are going to talk about today. Just open for everyone, which is bulk people joined today. If you don't have any questions, thank you so much for today, your time and joining this session. So let's begin and let's see for tomorrow the same time. Thank you so much. We'll see. So someone discussing chat, right? Let's see. Right. Earlier it was some having issue with this, right? Audio. Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you for time. We'll talk about later. Bye bye.